Hey, it's February the 3rd. My name's Spence C, and today's video is how you can make money from music. So what I do is how to make money from music is I'm not going to include Spotify because that's a given and it's not really a great way of making money from music. So let's get straight into it. I'm a musician. I'm going to talk first and foremost about the things that I have done personally that I know guarantee make money from music. And then I'll move on to some things that I've seen other people do and maybe things I've tried and made some money, but not a lot. So I'll try and do it in order of how much money I've made. So the first thing I would say is always busking is the quickest way for me to make money as a musician. I started 2014. I first busked, and if you don't sure what busking means, it just means street performance. So I played for about 20 minutes. I played my own songs quite badly, and I got about £3, something like that, which I don't know, $250 or something like that. At the time, the money, I wasn't doing it for the money. Or it wasn't about the money at all. It was about literally just standing and playing and getting over the fear of doing that. And once I did, and then I realised people would actually pay me money to play my own songs badly, I thought, I wonder how much they'd pay me if I played songs that they knew quite well. And over the subsequent years, I found out. So it's wildly unpredictable, busking. You cannot guarantee whether you're going to make any money or not. You know, you can greatly increase your chances by finding out the tricks and tips and the strategies that I'm going to allude to a little bit, but I'm going to share more in my book called Busking for Beginners, which I'll put in the description down below. So why I worked it out at, I made approximately £15. I averaged out over the years I did it around £15 per hour, which at the time, 10 years ago, that's well above minimum wage. I mean, minimum wage was like, I'm talking in pounds, right? It's just easier for me to think that way. It's about $7.25, something like that. So it's double minimum wage. So not a bad chunk of change. Some days I would make a lot more. And other days I wouldn't make as much. So the height of it, weirdly, COVID was actually a great earner for me because all the venues were shut for a while. Music was clamped down. People were locked in their houses. It was kind of warm weather, and I took my guitar and my busking amp to these courtyards where people were have like an apartment block, and then you have like a courtyard, and I lived in an apartment block with a courtyard. So I thought, well, why not play this first, because I could just see everyone sitting outside on the balconies getting the suntan, not being able to go anywhere else, not being able to mingle with anybody. And so it was a captive audience, and so I made over £200 in about 15 minutes, and that I replicated that several times during different courtyard concerts during the COVID thing, because I'm very ingenious like that. Ingenuity, anyway. So I did that, but generally I would busk on high streets. I would play near like busy places on a Saturday night or a Friday night. Play on like canals and river sides, anywhere where there's tourists. In Stratford-upon-Avon was a great place. I'd regularly make over £200 at a time per day, doing like 3 or 4 hours. Very enjoyable, lots of interaction. People would buy CDs, people would give me like folding stuff money. And I didn't really have any kind of electronic form of money, right? It was only taking cash, so I probably could have maybe at least doubled my money if I'd have had electronic forms of payment. And I got umpteen opportunities from that. So from the busking, I then started to get asked to play weddings and birthday parties and corporate gigs, which is then what I started to move more into doing. So I didn't do the busking as much because I was getting more regular gigs, which are a much more reliable for sum of income, but still not like completely bet your house on it a lot of the time, because a lot of it, there's a lot of politics involved, and it's very competitive. So that would be the next thing, just playing gigs. And when I'm saying gigs, they're mainly playing covers. So you'd be playing cover versions of popular songs, and I would sneak a few of my own songs in there as well. So they did very well. And in Norway, where I currently live, even though I'm in the States now, then it did quite well. You get paid a lot more, but you get taxed a lot more. So it can be a mess with your head a bit, because they're like, it's 10x dollars, or 10x the pounds rather. So let's say a dollar is 10 krona. So I get paid 100 krona, and really getting paid 10 krona. So I was getting like 10,000 krona, 15,000 krona, 20,000 krona, and in fact, that's the way it equated wasn't as much. So you kind of got paid more. You certainly got treated better over there. They threw in the hotel and the flights a lot of the time. So that's a good way of making money, playing covers. And of course you can do that. I haven't done this, but you can do it at holiday resorts. You can do it on cruise ships, and that's another way of doing it, of making money. Another way of making money that I've had of music is streaming, but it's not Spotify. It's a thing called Tribe of Noise, which if you've ever been in a shopping mall and you've heard music that isn't like instantly familiar, but it's good quality music, but it's not any songs that you recognize, then those songs generate a royalty as well. And some of those songs, you might have heard one of my songs, generate royalties. And I'll put the link down below, Tribe of Noise. You can submit your songs for consideration to these mall and shopping center playlists all over the world, and you get paid. Obviously, you don't get any recognition for the track because it's just played in the background. It doesn't say, hey, this is Spencer's track, buy it now. It's just background music, so no one really knows what they're listening to. So you're not going to get famous that way. You're not going to get your brand or your brand recognition or anything like that, but you do get paid, and you don't need a following. So that's a great way of making money out of music. Teaching, I've also done. I've taught guitar, even though I can't read music. I'm self-taught, but I can teach beginners, absolute beginners. I can teach them chords and how to play their favorite songs, which I have done as well. So that can be quite a good form of making money, especially if you've got a lot of patience and you're maybe highly skilled. If you can read music and you can play music, and you don't mind teaching people, and you can do very well with that. A lot of people do. So I only dabbled in that. That wasn't something I'd made a big thing about, because like I say, my own skills are quite limited in that area, but it's something you can do. Another thing which I did is open mics. So you might think, well, how do you make money out of that? Well, by hosting them. So if you go to a pub or a restaurant or a club, usually on a weeknight, and say, what's your kind of quietest night? Maybe they say a Monday or a Tuesday. I say, okay, well, let's do an open mic night. I'll bring my PA, I'll do all the promotion, and I'll bring people along who, they get up and play a few songs each. And, you give them a free drink or something like that, make it worth the while, and you pay me X amount to do it, and I'll do all the promotion. And they might say, usually if they're up for it, they'll give you a trial, and they'll try it for a few weeks. And if it works well, they'll stick with it. Usually they only give you a few weeks, and if it doesn't work well, then they pull the plug, because they've got to make money. However, if you're doing it on a quiet night, I might just think, well, it doesn't matter anyway, because we're not going to make any money anyway, unless we may as well just do this. So again, you can do that in multiple locations, which I've done in the past, and that can be quite successful in building your own community. You get your own gig because you're hosting it, and there's a lot of upside to doing that. So they're the things that I've actually done and tried. I've also sold my own music. I've created my own music. I wouldn't have said the ROI on that was very high for me, myself, because I obviously had to pay to get the music recorded in the first place, and then the money that I got back from the album sales probably didn't make, probably made a loss on that. However, but it can work for some people. And if you want to do vinyl, for instance, there's a lot more options now. I'll put the link down below. If you want to set up your own vinyl store and sell your tracks on vinyl, if you're playing gigs, that can be an attractive option, especially if you do them as like limited editions, you could probably sell them for 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds each to series vinyl collectors, and then that might be a higher return for you. So what else I have in music? So this is kind of going more out of the performing. I have mentored people, and so this is more from funding. I was friendly with people who won a funding contract, a bid from the Arts Council, and they hired people to be mentors for musicians, and that was me. I was a mentor, so I was getting paid to do that. So that could be something else, getting funding, applying for an art funding for yourself, or setting yourself up as a CIC, community interest company, or even a charity. You can get funding that way, and that's something I haven't had direct experience with, but I've seen other people do. And again, if you understand bid writing, and you've got a good idea for charity and it's a good cause, and you're pretty relentless in knocking on people's doors and asking them for money, then that can work as well. Other thing I've done as well, which I really enjoyed but didn't make a whole lot of money out of, but did make some money out of, was DJing. And yeah, love that as well. So I was an indie DJ. I played like 90s indie music in some nightclubs and got paid okay for that. But this was in the dim and distant past when I used to drink a lot. So the money that I did make just went straight into my belly, basically. But that's something you can do. And again, if you want to put your own night on, promote your own night, that can do really well. Likewise with gigs, I've done that before, promoted my own gigs, and you definitely make more money that way. And especially if you sign up your tracks to PRS, then whenever you play your own tracks, you get some money back. So they're the things that I've done, which personally have made money. There's many more I could talk about, and if I get a good response to this video, then I'll share some more, and we'll do a part 2 on this. Because obviously there's many more which I haven't experienced with, which I could investigate, but these are the ones I mentioned to you today in the video, are the ones that I've had direct experience with, and I know they work, and I know how they work. And like I say, especially if you're into, if you want to know about busking and playing covers gigs, I've got a lot of experience in that, and I can talk to you more about that. So drop me comments down below if you're interested. Just let me know if you put making money in music for the algorithm, and like, share, and hit that subscribe button, but not so hard that it smashes it, because you want to hit it again. You don't want it anyway. Just hit the like, but hit all the buttons. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow, and remember, rejection is just correction, ridicule is fuel, and resilience leads to brilliance. See you tomorrow.